Hello, YouTube. Medication. So you've had to go back on medication and it makes you feel like you've backslid or you've done something wrong. Let's have a little talk about that. Take it from someone who tried to stop taking their medication numerous times because I felt better. With my particular diagnosis, I have to stay on medication. Initially, I was told that at least part of my medication I would need periodically because bipolar 1 with psychosis, I would only need my antipsychotics periodically. And then they changed their mind because of the uncertainty of the diagnosis, and I am indefinitely on antipsychotics. I had a very bad habit of stopping my medication when I felt better because I would get scared, paranoid of the side effects of medication. People stop their medication because they feel better, they don't think they need it anymore, they are afraid or paranoid of the medication, they are in disbelief that they have a mental illness. Those are just some of the reasons why people stop their medication. In some circumstances, anxiety disorders, depression, other issues, you may not need medication at all, or you may only need medication sporadically. But the same goes for many conditions, physical conditions. There are a lot of physical conditions like MS that you can't see. That doesn't make them any less legitimate. The brain is an organ. It is one of the most complex organs in the human body. And when it comes to mental illness, people think that a mental illness is a character defect, that you're simply not strong enough, or you have some sort of flawed character, some bad personality. When there is a problem with your central nervous system, your brain processing, the most complicated organ in your body that requires medication. It's no different than when you need to take medication like insulin. Some people need insulin daily. Some people need a pump implanted. Some people need pills. Some people can get away with just dietary changes to manage their diabetes. But that doesn't mean that their pancreas is fine. Some people need to go from one medication to another as time goes on. Some people start with diet and then they find out they need medication. Some people, through dietary changes, can get off their pills and not need medication anymore to control their diabetes. But it's an organ problem. It's not a personality problem. It's not a failing. It's not a character flaw. It's not a weakness. It's not any more than that than is wrong with your pancreas, and your brain is far more complicated than your pancreas. I want to assure people, as I have a few friends that have confided in me that they're back on medication after being off of medication for some time, that they feel various feelings of guilt, shame, depression, overwhelm, failure. They feel like failures for having to go back on medication. And if you have a seizure disorder, you take seizure medication. If your seizure disorder improves, you may be able to go off of medication. If your seizure disorder reemerges, you have to go back on medication because it's an organ or electrical problem in the brain. The same goes for mental illness. You didn't do anything wrong and you have nothing to feel bad or guilty about for needing to use medication because your seizures have returned. Your symptoms have returned because the dysfunction in the organ, not in the person. And if you're like me and you require medication, I highly suggest that you try to stick it out. And if you have serious side effects or serious concerns, that you be open with your treatment team and talk about it. Medication doesn't make you weak or bad or wrong. It's needed for a medical issue, not a personal problem. Love you guys. Bye, YouTube. The brain is an organ. Don't forget it.